Please welcome to the stage Dallas and Magic Mike himself, Channing Tatum and Matthew McConaughey.
Whoa! Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. It's a podcast.
How are you, sir?
Hello.
Nice to see you. You okay?
How are you doing?
Matthew, I'm great. How are you? Thank you
Good.
so much.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
Check this out.
These aren't magic suits or anything. There's no Velcro on these suits
I
tonight.
can't promise anything at all, so
Channing's got his thong on.
I always got my phone on.
The trailer we just watched has got a real fun element to it. There's a lot of laughs. You find yourself kind of bouncing away in your chair. But there's some really serious undertones to this film as well. There's plots that kind of unfold throughout the story. Was that important to get that balance right for you?
I think this world in specific, it's not all just fun and games, even though, for an 18-year-old kid going into this world, it is all fun and games. And then you'll hit some bumps along the way, if you will. But yeah, it's just a slice of life. It's not supposed to be a comedy. It's not supposed to be a drama. It's not supposed to be anything but just a little window into the world in which I experienced for a very short amount of time.
Did that help? Were you enthralling the rest of your cast with stories of?
He had quite a few stories, and he was sort of the technical advisor when it came to a lot of the routines that we did on stage and such. You could go to Channing and go, is that realistic? Yeah, that would make a lot of money. All right, let's do that.
I didn't check the credits actually, whether you had technical advisor, choreographer, as well as kind of star of the film as well.
We did have great choreographers. I can't take that credit, but I was there to help along, if you will. We named a lot of your little moves.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
But we can't say them on at this podcast.
Yeah. There's a lot of plots that unfold for each of your characters, relating either to each other or other characters in the film. But the backdrop's always, what they do. But what's each of their individuals' motivation to be in that world?
I think they all have kind of different ones. I mean, obviously, Dallas is probably one of the most clear ones.
Yeah, my guy, Dallas, is a hardcore capitalist. I mean, he's a guy who's running this mail review with plans to, move from Tampa to Miami and get 4,000 square feet of primetime real estate right there on South Beach. Beach footage, come on. And then he wants to simulcast these shows all around the globe, and he wants to take over basically the galaxy.
Let's go to Dubai.
He believes he is the Messiah
Africa.
of the mail review. And he's connected to something out there in the UFOs a little bit.
But I think everybody else, though, probably ended up, getting out of college or high school or whatever, and then just needed to pay the bills, just like a lot of people do. You start doing a job and then cut to 6 years later, you're still doing that job and you're nowhere near closer to your dream or your goal.
Yeah. How easy do you both find it being sexy? Does it?
You answer first, and I'll answer right after that.
Does it come easy to you? Because that's the world that your characters are in. They're constantly. That's what they're seen as. They're seen as sex objects by these women.
I can tell you that being a veteran of that world, it doesn't take much. Women don't really go for sexy to these things. They go to embarrass their girlfriend by having some big sweaty dude get on top of her and grind on her. And that's what they go for. They're not going for any real kicks. But yeah.
Trying to downplay your part is not being sexy. I like it. And we're going to see a clip right now. And I guess, you've got this background in dance as well, which we've seen in Step Up. And it must have been great to have the chance to incorporate that into.
A little bit, yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, no, look, I don't know if the body roll and the hip thrust is very technical dancing or anything, but it's
a few techniques in this clip we'd like to see. Okay, I promise you. Let's have a look at this clip.
Thank God that's over.
That boy can dance, huh? And that's only like a quarter of the dance of one of his how many?
Gone
3?
Slightly red, Channing. You feel weird watching it?
You get naked on stage and then watch it with 200 people as you're sitting there trying to be like, yeah, go, buddy.
She didn't leave straight away, though. That's the whole point. The kind of love interest in the film. That's what I loved. That she saw you come on. She didn't leave straight away. She hung about just to check you out.
If she did leave straight away, she probably wouldn't end up being my love interest by the end of it. She'd be like, oh, no.
Ridiculed by it. I want to ask, though, in terms of the flip of that, of kind of, being able to dance and stuff, Alex Pettyfer, who does the most unsexy strip I have ever seen of anyone in the world, ever. Not that I've seen that many people strip, but Did he have to learn to be unsexy?
Well,
What did he do with that?
when no one knows, like, guys, it's almost nearly impossible to like take the clothes off and be sexy, especially when you have tube socks on. It just doesn't work out all that well when you're like trying to take it off. It doesn't work out. And guys in general are kind of awkward, especially if they're in a thong. And so I don't know. He did a really good job though. I mean, playing it up because he's a pretty suave character.
I imagine that there was a lot of fun on set.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys have a lot of laugh? Was there a lot of kind of taking the mick out of each other? And
He wasn't any fun at all.
Yeah, no fun. We had a ball, man. Channing's talked about it many times before, but a lot of times when you're done with your work for the day, you go home, and every one of the guys, and quite a few other people, when they were done with their work, say at lunch, they'd stay all afternoon to see the next guy do his dance. Because we were all sort of, the dancing part for all of us, you were the only one that had done any of it before. Mm-hmm. It was all sort of on a dare. It was kind of like we had walked off the plank and fell in the moat together, and we were like, oh, what's gonna happen here? And so when somebody pulled it off, you were rooting for them.
Yeah.
Dallas a fun character though to kind of get into and and kind of bring to life.
Who, Dallas?
Dallas, yeah.
No, I had a ball with Dallas. I mean, so much fun. It was ruthless, as I like to say. It was the MC, the owner of the club, choreographer, and like I said, the guy who in his mind believes he is the messiah of the future of the male reviews, which just is funny to say. But this guy really means it. He's committed to that. And that's where the humor comes from.
We've got a great clip of you emceeing at the club. Was it filmed in a real club? Was it in a real venue, or was that studio that created it?
No, it was a real club. We went in and made it look probably worse than it actually really looked. We tried to make it look pretty cheesy. It's not supposed to be big production Chippendale type thing. It was supposed to be pretty low rent, Tampa style.
Yeah.
Tampa's like a really small town.
And what about the ladies in the crowd? Were they just kind of brought in off the street? Were the extras? Did they have to apply online? Were they vetted?
Where did you find the extras?
Hey, we found them on the street. They're vagrants. They're just chilling
Friends and
out,
family?
hanging around. Yeah, my grandmother right there, I think. No, they were all paid women that got to come in, and which was kind of odd. I don't think they really exactly knew how far they could go. They all sort of was in the beginning of the day like, yay, and then by the end of it they're like, their like hair was crazier and their nails got longer. And
I heard you got your actual thong ripped off you, Matthew. Is that right?
Half of it.
Half of it.
The string that connects the front to the back on the right side. I felt this pop, and my left hand was over here, and I was straddling the dance floor, and I felt it get a little cooler where it wasn't so cool before, and I remember just trying to stay in rhythm, covering my God gave me's and kind of hopping up and tucking and rolling out of that thing and trying to stay on the beat.
My God gave me.
And then remembering you had an audience.
Yeah.
Oh, they had an audience. All right, there, it was right there.
We're going to see one more clip before I get some questions from our audience. And the script, did you stick to script? Was there an opportunity to kind of ad-lib with each other? Because we're going to show you a clip of you and I've forgotten her name now.
Cody Horn?
Yeah.
Yep.
Where it just feels like such a natural conversation, and you're kind of pushing each other and taking the mic out of each other a bit.
Is that at we're buying something?
Yeah.
Yeah, one Reed's a really great writer, and I help him with sort of that stuff, and so it's easy to kind of come up with a scene that is easy to come out of my mouth and whatnot. But once you get there, Steven Soderbergh, the director, he has a great way to he has a great way to really make you feel natural. You start rehearsing it and you shape it. It doesn't have to be what's on the page, but you figure out what is working, and then you kind of work that. And so it's he figures out what's working, and you just kind of slowly slide into filming it. It's nice.
This is a great scene.
Thank you,
Cody. She comes in there with a preconception of what Mike's like. She has an idea in her head instantly of kind of what she's like, and he changes that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's hard to not have a perception of somebody when the first time you really meet them, they're bringing your brother home from being out all night, and the next time you meet them, they're taking their clothes off and dry humping someone on stage, and it's kind of hard not to have like a complete preconceived notion.
How does he change it?
I think just by wanting something more. I think that Mike is in a weird place in his life where he's realized that this is not it for him. Like, this isn't all he wants. And then by meeting her and realizing what's missing, he just wants to be a little bit more than he is at the moment.
Yeah.
And she's sort of like the door. Whether he's gonna be with her for the rest of his life or not, doesn't matter. You know, he just knows that she's the kind of a doorway through to something else, something more substantial.
What's Stephen like as a director to work with?
I love to work with Stephen. I've never worked with anyone like him before. You know, Channing has. This was my first time. And you learn pretty quickly that when you show up on set, you better be your character right then. Because he's not going to come over and tell you, okay, guys, now it's time.
Yeah.
He'll sit back and observe for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. And we all kind of notice that, okay, when we get to the scene, start doing what you would do. And if you do that, in the next 30 minutes, all of a sudden the camera's going to show up in front of your face, and you're going to see Steven with his glasses pop over behind the camera and give you a little thumbs up, which basically says, do what you do. Mm-hmm.
Or, we got it already, thanks, guys.
Yeah. That'll happen too. He'll come over and say, we got it already. Go, when'd you shoot it?
What?
Yeah.
I imagine the costumes were quite easy to help you get into character.
The
kind of what?
The costumes.
outfits.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
Unless those were your everyday clothes. I mean, I don't know.
I wear that normally.
It's a pretty, you knew you were in a pretty specific office. you weren't going to the accounting
Quite
room.
a sweaty one.
Yeah.
Let's get some questions from our lovely audience. Lady right there in the white shirt.
Hi, my question's for Channing. My name's Priya. I just wanted to ask,
Oh, no.
when did you think that you'd really made it? I know that Step Up was one of your big ones, but just as this is a movie about making it and doing what you need to once you've kind of graduated and stuff, when did you sit back and think, yeah, I've made it, or are you the same? Or
You know, I think you can always have a healthy fear of like it all going away, and I think that's always there. That, you know, I've had a couple movies this year that have done well, and if I have a couple movies next year that don't do well, you're somehow, now you haven't made it, you know. But I think the first time that I really realized that I had not made it probably in the traditional sense was when I realized that this is really what I want to do for the rest of my life. No matter sink or swim, I had kind of zeroed in on something that I was just like, yep, doesn't matter whether I fail at this or not, I'm going to keep doing it.
well, you do it very well.
Ah, thank you.
P.S. I love you.
Lady just
Love you
there,
too.
please.
Hi, this is for Matthew. I saw Killer Joe a couple weeks ago. I think
Me too, it's great.
I didn't think
Thank
I was
you.
supposed to find it as funny as I did, but I did.
Oh, good.
It's brilliant, yeah. I was just wondering, did you make it quite close to this? Because I can't imagine two more different films. I was just wondering, as long you didn't still have that Killer Joe character when you're on set or anything.
What did I do? I think I went Bernie Killer Joe. I went Killer Joe, then I did one more after that, and then I did this. So they were 3 months apart. 3 months apart, yeah.
Great, thank you. Just behind, yeah. There you go.
Hello.
Hi.
Steven Soderbergh's not really the kind of person you'd, on paper, associate with a film like this. Was it him that attracted you to it, or were you attached before?
I mean, one, he's made things like Sex Lives Videotape, The Girlfriend Experience. I mean, so he has made very salacious things, but maybe not this sort of lowbrow. You know, I did a movie with him earlier in the year called Haywire, and I had just over a beer told him about one of these stories of my life, and his jaw sort of hit the ground, and he was like, "That would make a great movie." He's like, "You should write it," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, Steven Soderbergh, I'm gonna get right on that and write a movie," which I've never done before. And cut to like, you know, about 3 or 4 months later, we were eating. We had lunch together, and he's like, "Look, we should finance this ourselves. You and your business partner should write it. I'll direct it, and we'll produce it, and we'll sell it ourselves." And then we just decided to just march forward. He had a really short window in which he could do a movie because he had another movie right before it, and we just pushed it into existence. There was nothing on the page, and then I think even before we finished the script, Steven was calling people and getting them on board, and it just sort of worked. Like everything just worked out. We got really lucky, and I think it's something very indicative of having a director like him that's been through it so many different times. He's made so many movies, and especially with the crew that he's already. He's made like 25 movies or something with this one. Greg Jacobs is his first AD and his line producer, and they're such a streamlined sort of thing that we got pretty lucky all the way around.
Good question, thank you. Lady here.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so we've heard Matthew's, but I was wondering, since this movie was based on your real life, like what was the most embarrassing or memorable experience that you had stripping or performing, whatever you want to call it?
What was your? Oh, getting it ripped
What was
off.
mine? Oh,
Yeah, getting it ripped off. Getting
Yeah.
it ripped off. I look. Anytime that the curtain goes back and there's this many people standing in front of you and you got to get naked, it's pretty embarrassing, and you better hope it's not cold in the room.
So there's
When you gotta take down the drawers. Anything. There's so many things. Like even there's a scene in the movie which you guys probably don't know about, but it's just a dancing scene, and we didn't know what to do for my last sort of like dance, and so I just went out and freestyled, and there's all kind of things when you try to pull off like a flip or a move and you don't pull it off and you just fall on your
so
face.
nothing happened, like
But
not just and no, not going there. I meant like because it's based on your life when you were really performing, like
Loosely.
like yeah.
Oh, got it. Yeah. The most embarrassing thing that happened was my sister was in the audience standing this far away from me.
Yeah, that's not
With sorry, that's a totally better answer I have for you now. So this far away from me, and she had 6 of her friends there on my first night that I actually stripped.
At least it wasn't your mom. Like yeah.
Almost my mom would have been better, I think, because at least my mom's seen me naked before, and she's still been like, whatever. But my sister, we do not have that relationship. Like, we might be from the South in Alabama and America, but we don't have that relationship.
Lady right there, who's got her hand up there. Great, thank you.
Hello, Channing.
Hi.
You had a very well documented mishap during the filming of Eagle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know the one I mean. Glad to hear that you recovered from it.
Yes.
But did you have anything happen untoward while you were filming Magic Mike?
Nothing anywhere near that horrific.
What happened to you on Eagle?
I burned my penis.
On what?
How does she know that?
The brief synopsis is I'm in the Highlands of Scotland and we're in a river all day long. You know how you have to shoot all day.
Yeah.
And I have a wetsuit underneath my costume, and we're having to pour warm water down the wetsuit, like essentially all day to keep my core warm so
Yeah.
I can keep in the water. Day's done. I start walking back up to the trucks, and here comes the guy. Poor guy's been running up and down like a 15-minute hill all day long, and he's like, "You want to warm up before you go up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" And he pours it down. And what had happened was he didn't get all the way back down to the river to dilute the kettle water, like the boiling water, and he poured it right down my wetsuit. I've never been in more pain in my entire life. Funny thing though, on the way to the hospital, guess what song that was actually playing on the radio? Does anybody? Just wild guess. Go. Do you know that? Did you actually know that? Did you actually know that from the? How did you get that right? That's pretty fantastic.
Amazing.
It was exactly that.
Lady just in the back there with the question, please.
Hiya. What advice would you give to other actors or people trying to chase their dreams out there?
Chase your dreams?
Yeah.
Wow. Let's see here. Really love it. Like, if it's a dream, say it's acting. I can't speak to very many other ones. Don't want it for just to be on TV or to be in the movies. If you want to be an actor, be willing to be in an acting class, and that's all the acting that you're ever going to get. And if that's enough for you, then do that. Then do it because you love it. And that's really all I can tell you. Like, if you're willing to do it and not get paid for it and not get any recognition for it, and you want to keep doing it for the rest of your life, then feel free.
There's no help wanted signs. The guards at the gates are not there to keep you in. They're there to keep you out. And take risk and don't act like one, be one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lady just here, if you could pass the mic along here. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Wow. Okay.
Take a breath. It's going to be all right.
My question is, when you're filming and you have one of these days where you're just consumed by other things that isn't the film at the time, what's the thing that gives you that final push to say, you know what, I have to do this, I have to get this done? What's the thing that enables you to do that?
I don't know. I mean, the easy answer is the person standing next to you. I mean, you know, you're all there, and you're all there, and you're hopefully all there because you want to be there, and not just there for some superficial reason. And I have a responsibility to him. I have a responsibility to my director and everybody around me that, you know, I have a job, and if I don't do it the best of my ability, then I'm failing everyone around me. It takes a village to raise a kid, and you know, if one person fails, you know, the whole thing falls apart.
But you're right. There are some people that maybe in his position that can pull the plug and not give it that extra bit. I mean, it comes from work ethic, which he's got a great one of those, and it comes from another way of saying what he's talking about. It comes from pride. You know what? How he's the kind of guy who would go home and feel horrible if he sat there and like said, "Nah, I'm done," and let a whole bunch of other people down. There's a lot of people that have a specific trade that they have worked their butt off to be great at. And if the person in front of the camera pulls the plug just because maybe they're not feeling 100%, you can do that, but not everyone can go sleep with that. Go home and sleep with it, you know.
You must have a sense of achievement though with this project, and the fact that, you know, you sat over dinner or whatever with Stephen and he went, "We should make a film about that," and now you're here talking about it.
Completely. I mean, it's crazy even to. It takes so much to will a movie into an existence. I mean, you just can't know. I mean, just like you said, there's so many obstacles along the way that just want to tell you no. Wants to say like that you can't do it. And when something happens, even just to make the movie is a miracle. For the movie to do well, you have no idea how many things have to align to actually get it to work out. And when they do, because there's 1,000 things that can go wrong, and when even a few of them go right, you're just so thankful.
Okay, this is the last question. Gentlemen, let's get a guy question, shall we? Should we get...
Last one, make it good, brother.
Matthew, Channing, it's an absolute pleasure to have you guys in our store.
Thank you.
Channing, I had the pleasure of talking to you about 2 months ago over by the other section when your friend was looking for some accessories.
Great, you shop here too.
All right, so glad to have you here. Quick question. So you're an accomplished dancer, actor, martial artist as well. Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask you, what would be the ultimate role for you? For example, we've got Robert Downey Jr., who's just achieved Iron Man. Who would have ever thought he would have been a superhero? So
it's a good question for both of you, actually.
What would
What's
be your ultimate roles for both of you?
That encompasses all that, or it just means the most to you? I mean, like it's hard. It's hard when every single one of them is an ultimate role. You know, that's why we choose to do them. You know, because they're all so different. You know, I did a comedy with Jonah Hill that I never thought I was going to do, but I'm so happy with it. But
is there going to be a sequel?
Yes, there will.
Yes.
Like today, right now, this if you can, right this moment now, is there something like you've just done Magic Mike, so is there something top of your head that you're saying, maybe I'd like to be the next Superman or?
I would. I'm gonna give you a really ridiculous answer because if I could play any figure, and that's probably not even possible. If I could play anything whatsoever, Genghis Khan. It's weird. I know. I am a huge fan of Genghis Khan. Everybody's like, what? I'm like, I just really do. I love him. I love that guy.
Matthew, have you got what? Hey, it's an honest answer.
Martial arts, I don't know. He's awesome. He's great.
I really want to play Martin Luther King.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen,
I didn't think it could get weirder, but it did. It totally did. Good job.
Magic Mike is in cinemas as of tomorrow. Huge round of applause, please.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
And Matthew. Thanks, guys.